God, sorry, man. Thanks, Vijay. I thought I started recording. I don't know how I missed it. Sorry. So that's okay. I think we're just starting anyways, right? So let me just cover that once again. So what is happening here? This is a basically a primitive. That is a primitive, and this is a user defined. Now you can basically, in case of arrays, what we can do, we can store all the primitives, or we can store even we can create a dog array wherein I can store all the dog objects, string objects, etc. But here in the case of collections, you cannot store primitives. You cannot create a collection of int to store the numbers. That is where the wrapper classes comes into picture. So what we do is every wrapper class, every primitive has a corresponding wrapper class. So what is the use of this? This wrapper class, using this wrapper class, we can convert this primitive into an object. That is what is the use of a wrapper class. What we do is there is an int here. For example, int x is there is equal to 10. Now I need to convert it into an object. That is when I have to use the integer. You have to use the integer to convert the primitive into object. Why? Because the collections, we can only store objects, not primitives. That is why whenever you want to store any objects into collection, you have to basically wrap them and store it. If they are already object, then it is fine. If you're storing string objects, dog objects, animal objects, then it's fine. But however, if you need to store, let us say, numbers into collection, then you have to convert them into objects. So how do you convert it? Wrap it. So just take a wrapper and wrap it, and then unwrap it, then you'll get the value back. Exactly like that. So wrapper classes are mainly used for converting primitive to corresponding objects. Okay, so let us see this now, how to do that. Let me just explain this to you. So every primitive has a corresponding wrapper class. Okay, let me show you that with some example. Okay, so now see here, int x is equal to 20 I will take. Okay, int x is equal to 20 I'll take. Right now, so this is a primitive. I cannot store this number into a collection. Collection is what? Collection is where is basically collection means collection of objects. Now this is not an object, this is a primitive. So now what we have to do is we have to wrap it and convert it into a wrapper object. So how to do that? Use a wrapper class. Integer, for example, integer int obj is equal to new integer of x. Now the moment you do this, what are you trying to do here? You are wrapping this. You are wrapping this, right? So you are converting. See, all the wrapper classes are basically having a constructor wherein it will take the primitive value or the variable, primitive variable as a constructor argument. Now this has become an object. Now see here, when I say int obj, just see here what happens. Dot. You will see all the methods which are coming from. Some of them are coming from integer class. Some of them are coming from object class. You will see all that. But however, when you say x dot, you don't get anything because x is a primitive. You will not get anything. It's just a primitive. Are you getting it? So converting a primitive to its corresponding object is what is basically done using the wrapper classes. And this process of converting the primitive into its corresponding object using the wrapper classes is called as boxing. Okay, this is called as boxing. What is boxing? Converting a primitive to its corresponding object with the help of object, right? So with the help of wrapper classes, right? This is what is called as boxing. Okay, so this is process of boxing. So you have to box it, you have to wrap it, then send that value as a box so that it is becoming an object now. Now once it becomes object, now you want to take the value back. You want to take the value back. So what you have to do is int obj dot, there is a method called as int value. Every wrapper class has a method like this: int value, char value, byte value, like this. So this will give you again an int back. For example, now this becomes an integer again. This becomes an int variable. Now see y dot, nothing is there because it's a variable again. Okay, Now, what are you doing here? You are removing the box and then again converting it back to the primitive. Now, this is called as unboxing. What is that? This is opposite of this, converting the object, back to primitive state. Primitive, right? This is what is unboxing is. Okay. Some people also call it as unwrapping, and the other one is called as wrapping. The other one is called as wrapping. So what is the use of it? For example, if you want to store it as a collection, then it is mandatory for us to convert it into an object and store it. Okay, is this clear to all of you? Shweta, is the definition clear to you? What is boxing and what is the use of a wrapper class? Shweta. Shweta, are you there? I don't know. You were a little bit struggling last time. Hey, Vamshi, have you joined? Vamshi, are you there? Vamshi, I still can't hear you. Vijay, is that clear to you? What is boxing?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Aravind, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Shweta, are you there? Shweta? Yeah, Shweta, come on. I can't hear you. So looks like there's some issue from your side, Shweta. Maybe you're connected from home. Looks like there's no proper internet. Anyway, so if you at least confirm me over the chat, then it's fine, Shweta. She got dropped off. Okay, still there. Yeah, Shweta. I still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you a little bit.
There's a network problem here, so it's disconnecting sometimes.
But were you able to hear me properly?
Yeah, I was able to hear you.
Okay, that's okay. At least you understood now what is wrapping is, what is boxing. What is boxing and what is unboxing? Is that clear to you, Shweta?
No, I'll go through the video later, maybe.
Okay.
It's disconnecting, so I couldn't understand it properly.
No problem. You be online for some time, then maybe, so we will just try to wind up the class very soon.
Yeah,
Then after that, once you get time, you can go through that. Yeah. Yeah. Vamshi, how about you? Are you back online? You are also on and off.
Well,
Vamshi? Yeah. Vamshi, are you able to hear me? Maybe you're on mute, Vamshi.
Yeah, Patel, yeah. I'm in bus actually, so the connection is getting off and on.
Okay, so you are also having the same issue. Okay, so we will just take another 7-8 minutes, maybe 9:30 we will stop today. At least hopefully tomorrow all of you should be able to attend properly, right? So just hang on, maybe be there for some time, 10 minutes max, we'll wind up the session. Okay, and then maybe you can watch the video. Okay, all right. So now, so this is what is about boxing. Now, so there is one beauty in Java. Okay, for example, let us see this with char also. Char c is equal to a is there. Now, how do I convert this into a character object? Character, say c obj, whatever it is equal to new character. Okay. And of, let us say c. Now, what has happened here? This is converted into an object now, right? So, if you see here c obj, then what happens? Dot, you will get all the methods. Right, just like that. So now you can just still say here cvobj dot char value. See here, you will get the character back. So this is boxing, this is unboxing. Right, this is what it is. Okay, now I will tell you one beauty here. So the beauty is, in Java, you don't have to explicitly box and unbox it. This was the case before JDK 5. After JDK 5, what they have done is they've realized that it's a pain point every time convert a primitive into object and then convert it again back to primitive whenever you want to use it as a primitive, right? So then what they have done, they have directly given the luxury to you. Just see here, I will say integer I is equal to 20. Directly, I am putting the value here, 20. And then see here, initially what I had to do, I had to say int x is equal to 20, then wrap it with the help of wrapper class, and then box it and then convert it into an object, integer object. Now what I'm doing here, I'm directly converting it to integer object just like that. This is basically an object now. See here, I will say I dot, right? So int value, I can directly use like this. I can directly use like this. Then just try to see a system.out.println I plus x. Now when we do this, let us see what we get it. So one is object, another one is primitive. Let us see what we do that, what we get here. Let us try to run this and see. So 20 plus 20, we are getting 40 here. So how is it possible to add an object to a primitive? So what happens is, whenever you try to use this, integer object, so whenever you try to use it in your code, then automatically, it will unbox it. Now see here what it's doing. So if you just see here, boxing is happening automatically, right? Because if you say 20 and then assigning it to an integer object, this 20 is wrapped and converted into an integer object. It's an int value, but it is converted into an integer object. So this is what is called as auto boxing. So nothing but whatever we discussed here, boxing, that happens automatically. You don't have to take a pain of doing like this. You can do like this also, but this is automatic. Even unboxing, see now what has happened here. This 20 was fine. This was an object. Then what it did do, it converted it into a primitive, unboxed it first, and then added with the another primitive, because you wanted to use it as a value. So both boxing and unboxing, auto unboxing, happens automatically in Java. You don't have to worry. You can directly say like this, character C2 is equal to A. So that means A will be converted as a character object directly. You can directly say double D is equal to 10 point, say some number. Now this is converted into double object. See D dot, you're getting all the values, I mean all the methods which are there in the double class as well as which are there in the object class. Every class is anyway the child class of a object class, right? So but whereas if you just see here double D1 is equal to 20.52, now this is a primitive. D1 you will not get anything. So the reason telling this is both boxing and unboxing happens automatically in Java. You don't have to explicitly do that. Why I have taught you this? Just to make you understand. This is how it was earlier, JDK 1.5 earlier. Then nowadays the boxing and unboxing happens automatically. Okay, is this clear, Aravind, to you?
Yes, sir.
Vijay, is that clear? Vijay?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. Vamshi, were you able to hear me? I don't know to what extent. Okay. Shweta is actually struggling with the network. That's okay. Now, one final thing before I stop today. So what is the use of wrapper classes? What is boxing? What is unboxing? We have seen. That is okay. That is sufficient actually. Now, going one step further. Just to see here, I have a string. String S is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what is this? This is a string, right? Now this is a string, but actually seeing here this is a number, but because we enclosed it in double quotes, that's why it is becoming string. Now what happens? Now if I want to convert this string into a number, if I want to convert this to a string into a number, for example, if I add 1, 2, 3, 4 plus, for example, this x 20, it should add, it should not join. Now it will join because it's a string. So in case if you want to convert a string into int, provided these are only numbers, they should not have any characters, by the way. So then for that also your wrapper classes have some methods, and those methods are static methods. Integer is a class, then there's a static method called as parse int. Very important method. Most of the times whenever you fetch the data from the application, you will get it as a string. Now this string, if you want to convert it into a primitive, then you have to use what? Integer dot parse int. Now see, I'm saying integer dot parse int. Yes. Now what this will do? This will give you a int value. This will give you a int value. Now this will convert this string into a int. Okay, now you will get an int now. Now see here, you can say system.out.println m plus x. Now that will be adding 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 20 it will add. So see here 1, 2, 5, 4 it has become. So if you want to convert any object to int, then you have to use what? Excuse me, the parse int method. The best example is sorry. So the best example is to see that with respect to string. Provide in case if you have any characters here, then your compiler, when during the runtime, you will get a number format exception. See here, you will get a number format exception because this cannot be converted to a number because you have some characters. You don't expect it to automatically cast it. But if you have only numbers here as a string, then you can convert it into an int by using integer.parseInt. So most of your wrapper classes have like that double dot parse double. So in case if you have a double as a string, then you can still parse it as a double value. Okay, this is basically for converting from any particular object type or any other type into the respective primitive. So if you remember in the string class we discussed it, right? So for example, I have this int x, right, which is there. Int I will say n is equal to 20. Now I want to convert this 20 as a string. Then where was the method? Do you remember? String dot value of n means what it will do now? It will convert, sorry, not copy, value of n. So now what happens here? This will be converted as a string. Say yes to. Now this will be converted as a string. So this is converting a string to int. This is converting a int to string. So this is there in the string class. This is there in the integer class. Okay, you should be clearly aware of this. These two methods you'll be using it now and then in your Selenium, because when you fetch the data from the application, mostly it's a string. If you want to convert it as a number, you have to parse it and take out the int value. Similarly, if you want to convert an int to a string, then you have to do like this. This is coming from the string class. This is coming from the integer class. If you know this much about boxing, boxing and unboxing, and then parse int method, value of method, that is sufficient. Okay, so we are good to start with the collections. Vijay, is that clear to you, whatever we discussed so far?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Arvind, is that clear to you? Arvind?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay.
Clear,
Vamshi?
sir. It's clear.
Okay, wonderful. Vamshi, you were on and off. I'm not sure how far you were able to hear. You can go through the video, Vamshi.
Yeah, I got the overall idea. Yeah.
Right. You can maybe go through the video once, then we will see. Okay. I think let us stop here for today because Vamshi and Shweta, both of them are kind of struggling to connect. So we will meet tomorrow, same 8:30 sharp 8:30. So don't miss the class. Then maybe we'll start with inner classes or collections tomorrow. Maybe another 2-3 days to complete core Java. We'll move on to Selenium. Okay, guys. Thanks for attending. I will share the code. I'll share the video. See you tomorrow then. All right. All right, Arvind. Okay, Arvind. Okay, Vijay. Okay, Vamshi. Okay, all right. Bye. See you. Vamshi, see you. Shweta, see you. Bye. Take care.
Yeah, sure, sir.
See you
Thank
tomorrow.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye, sir.